Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for September 4th, 2022, with your host, Peacemaker2448 and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hello.
It's Ace Attorney Week, plus us talking about episode 1 of The Geats, and I certainly have a lot of questions coming out of that first episode.
I feel like I don't have as many yet, and it's more because I'm wanting to see how they're going to play certain aspects of it out.
Yeah. It feels, because I was listening to Taka of Contessa Toys talk about episode 1, I kind of agree with him that it's less episode 1 and more episode 0 of the series.
Yeah.
It's kind of a finale of a show we have not watched and can't watch.
It truthfully almost feels like this one was literally just, we need to sell the new toy for the next year, so here we go.
Here's everything about that toy, besides the armed weapon bits. Which, wait, no, they even did that. It's not on Geats that they did that. Like, I give them credit, there's a lot of economy with the toy stuff in this episode, because damn, they get everything on the table for that driver.
And I almost wonder if that was the goal. Get the toy shelling out of the way so they can tell a story.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's episode 1 debuted, folks, and we've also got our predictions in. Our big 5-point predictions, because we're following the system that Hawk set up for his prediction show. That they're doing the Geats one this Thursday. I believe it's him, Thomas Jujubee. I forget the other two offhand. But there's 2 others he's got on to do the same. I assume the same system of predictions and all that.
You're gonna hope so.
Yes, because look, the reason the 3.1s haven't been like really changed at all is because there's fucking a lot of math in there to get it right. So I don't want to muck with it.
Fair.
Let me see if I can find this tweet advertising it, because I forget the other 2 people involved. So there are probably people I have not heard of, which isn't surprising at all. Oh wait, no. It's Marco Satsu, Thomas Jujubee, and Keza Henshin. I have not heard of Keza Henshin before. So the 4 of them are doing predictions based off more or less episode 1 through the rest of the show on Thursday on his Twitch. I assume it'd be a similar thing of yes/no questions are 1 point, numerical questions are 3 points, and then your full predictions are 5 points. So I guess you agree with me on the first one since you haven't changed it.
Yeah, because this feels like the one to pull it off.
Yeah, which is that Geats will have the most female writers for a series to date, which is approximately 3 to 4, depending on how you count. Movie writers in this situation are people who have taken up the driver from other people. Look, there will at least be probably a squad of female writers by the end of the series. Unfortunately,
I feel like for that one, at least my end of it, I almost kind of feel like comparing only to the other shows, not to any of the extra material like the movies, the cinemas, that stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, it should be about 3 to 4. Double edge of that is that most of those are probably only going to be entry forms. Only like Nago's probably going to have like a full form. That's not the entry form by the end of the series.
I don't know if I was right on being able to count 3 that I saw in the episode proper. We might actually have 3 that last a good little bit. And that's also not going out on the limb of being like, you know, when the upgraded driver stuff comes through, we may have another person then.
Yeah. Honestly, considering like how well people like John and Aguilera and them more or less being a duo of writers doing their own things, it would be cool to more or less Nago to have her own little squad of writers that she's with and does story stuff and all that with. Like,
but at the same time, I know we can't get it now because the show's already kind of just said no right out the gate. But I kind of would dig female secondary writer kind of deal, like proper.
Yeah, it seems like they've more or less dedicated the tertiary writer slot to the female writer right now,
which that's fine. That's better than nothing.
Yeah, because 3/4 of our Rara era shows right now, the tertiary has been the female writer.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that.
We're just inching closer, ever so closer. Maybe one day. But yeah, where we differ is on the second and third position. So my second one is that Geats will not win the current Desire Grand Prix. So for those that want to get caught up on the episode, we saw the end of a Desire Grand Prix and Geats be declared the Desire deity, or I guess God of Desire would be another way of putting it. I don't know. They didn't really explain that part of it. That it just is a thing that Geats did. And now Geats is.
He got a victory royale.
Pretty much. But I feel like because he's won this first one that we get to see, maybe not necessarily the first one there is, because fuck if we know on anything. I don't want to speculate super hard that there may be like more Desire Grand Prix that we haven't seen, because there's not really evidence to say otherwise. We are at episode 1. I'm not going to get in wild speculation territory.
Yeah, no. Not unless we get flashbacks showing that this is like the 100th iteration of it or something stupid like that.
Yeah, especially since this Desire Grand Prix lasted 6 months. And presumably the one we will be seeing for the majority of the show will be, a year long. I would assume.
A year question mark? Because writer shows have a very bad habit of being like, oh yeah, this just all takes place at the same time.
Hi,
because
Ghost.
We're never showing a calendar.
Hi, Ghost, and your very compressed timeline on the back end of your series.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I feel like this current Desire Grand Prix won't be won by Geats. If anything, I feel like it's going to be won by Tycoon, because he feels like the one that's going to have to grow over the course of the season. And that's all the setup for stuff. And some part of me is thinking Ryuki, because that's the other Battle Royale show, and I feel like that's a lot of people are going to make comparisons to. And I feel like it's also the show people that maybe the writer's going to pull a little bit from, idea-wise. And If there's any show where I feel like the secondary is going to be the one to take out the big bad at the end of the show and win, it'd be this show.
I could see that.
Because I've also seen in interviews where they've talked about Ace not really growing. He's kind of more, a static character in a sense. So again, it feels like if anyone is not going to win the Desire Grand Prix, it's going to be Geats because he already won. What does he get for winning again? But your second will be that the main rider will die at least once.
And I want to emphasize on the at least part. Because I get the feeling that this might be one of the few times that we're going to have that happen way too frequently.
Oh, the ghost flashbacks people are going to have and just be like, no, not again.
I'm not necessarily... I've worded it that way too because I'm not necessarily saying that Geats will die more than once. Because I feel like we're gonna have so strong of a secondary rider that we might actually just have co-main riders kind of deal.
A little bit of revice in a sense.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And if that's the case, then that could kind of be expanded upon then.
Yeah, because here's one weird thing that's only really present if you've been looking at the toys and stuff. Buffa's getting more promotion than Tycoon right now. Because the pack-in stuff for the Desire Driver off the back is actually Buffa's ID core in his main Rise buckle along with like the holders. Not Tycoon. Tycoon's ID core, I believe, is like a crit, like a mail-in bonus or a lottery bonus or something. Like, it's not even retail. Which is a, wait, what? Like, it apparently even confused retailers in Japan because it's like, wait, Buffa's not the secondary, Tycoon's the secondary? What? Because again, if you go back to the poster we got and stuff, who's front and center with Geats? Buffa. But who's the secondary rider? Tycoon. It's very odd, and it feels like there's maybe something we haven't seen yet that's going to explain why that's the case.
That'll be interesting then.
So for my third one, I propose that someone connected to the Desire Grand Prix high up is the main villain of the series. I don't know who, because I don't think anyone of our cast that we currently know is the main villain. Because Navigator Lady is not the main villain. I honestly expect her to be a writer at some point, because it's the same guy who wrote X-Aid. And 01.
Mid-season.
Costume. Yeah, costume female character becoming a writer? Nah, that's totally not gonna happen.
Mid-season.
But then we got the guy running the bar, essentially, for the Desire Grand Prix, and I'm like, you're not villain.
No.
But then we also have, like, Masked Man watching the feeds and stuff, and I'm like, you're probably not main villain. You're gonna be connected to main villain, I feel like, but you're not main villain. Because something about this whole setup with the Yamato and the Desire Grand Prix and stuff is just like, this seems just a little too fishy. There's something more at play here that even our writers are out of the loop on. And maybe Geats knows, but he may not know how to stop it, which is why maybe he's perpetuated the Desire Grand Prix again. It's just like, there's something more going on and he's trying to get at it. And the only way to do it is to keep the Desire Grand Prix going. Because they've, again, in character descriptions and stuff, Geats' goal is unknown. His desires are unknown. So what exactly his whole deal is still just a big question mark. And I feel like that has to play into the fact of we have no main villain. We don't even have a real big threat in reality. Because it even feels like the Yamato are not that big of a threat.
Yeah.
So clearly something more is going to happen. Clearly we're going to get a bigger threat later in the series. So that's why I'm like, somebody high up in the Desire Grand Prix is our main villain. Because they're the ones really behind everything.
They're the ones pulling the string.
Yeah. And your third one is that the show will end similar to Gaim, a soft reboot with our main writer off-world.
I mainly am going that direction because this is totally a show that's going to do a soft reboot.
I mean, we already did it once, so...
Yeah.
It feels like the perfect bookend to the show, honestly, is to have that same sort of like, the world has changed again. And then we get kind of a repeat of this first episode with like all of our different characters checking in with them and seeing what they're doing.
I kind of feel like the neat thing would be a case of by the end of it, everyone that makes it to the end realizes what's happened. And they're like, the game is fun, but it really shouldn't be taking place here. Because I get the funny feeling we're gonna have some actual repercussion. It's not gonna be a case of, once the Grand Prix is done, anyone that got killed by the monsters is gonna just magically be back. No, I'm sure they're dead.
Even though, well, here's the thing: the boss got murdered. The boss in the noodle shop got murdered by the monsters, and yet he's back. But weirdly, we didn't.
The boss in the
see
noodle shop, I have a funny feeling, is an NPC.
But also, weirdly, we did not see the sister of Tycoon again.
Yep.
And I'm like, is she gone, or are we just kind of sliding her off to the side so Tycoon can get his belt and stuff, and his sister's not like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Why are you accepting this? What's happening? You don't have that awkward moment where it's just like, wait, what's happening? With a character that's just like, brother, maybe you shouldn't touch the thing from the strange lady who just showed up out of nowhere. I feel like maybe that it feels like it might be a thing, but I'm also like, maybe it's just not a thing just because of how the scene is written. Maybe.
I think it's going to boil down to whoever wins gets to decide kind of concept.
Yeah.
Which is probably going to be what's going to result in our main writer being like, yeah, the game does not need to be here anymore. Because it almost feels like there will but won't be kind of consequences to all of this. The only other thing I can see is if we get some kind of weird, like, Matrix-esque stuff.
Yeah.
Where we kind of find out that, it's all basically just a simulation. Which that would be kind of a different take, actually.
You say that, but I'm also like, right, that feels like a Dawn Brothers thing at the moment, so I don't know if they would duplicate that plot. Because there's some shenanigans going on with Dawn Brothers at the moment that also feel like it is some sort of simulation computer thingy mahujit. So I don't know if Geats would do it too.
Oh god.
Or they don't ever really double down in the same year on the same plots, I feel like.
No, they don't. But this could be the start of something.
Right. because Dawn Brothers has apparently done gangbusters, and everyone is loving that show to death. I'm not, because I gave it 3 episodes, and I was like, nope, I'm good. I don't need to watch this show. I'm just gonna get frustrated. Yeah, honestly, also, like, Geet's more or less being off-world, and I don't know. I don't know if he'd be running a Desire Grand Prix, but maybe being like, I'm off-world handling things, and if like problems come up, I can go recruit some riders and go handle shit.
I don't know if necessarily running one would be his forte, but maybe a case of he almost, at least at the current point, feels like someone that wouldn't just give up on it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got the vibe of he's the arrogant person that knows that he's gonna win.
Mm-hmm.
So the simple fact of continuing to win would please him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's really the end that I'm getting. It's definitely not a case of how Gaim ended, where no, Kota was doing this to save the planet. I think this will more be a case of he's going to be off-world because the 2 options are either going to be this game goes somewhere else because it is too dangerous and pissing every one of the other riders off, or or it's a case of he just refuses to let it be a loss kind of deal.
Yeah. I do have to ask this because I've seen the comparisons. How similar does Geets feel to the Tendo at the moment for you?
At the moment, I am really glad the focal point for the first episode was not on Geets.
Fair.
I don't think I could do it.
He doesn't feel as much of a dick as Tendo is.
No, but he's not far off.
Yeah. That's why I feel like him taking a death is going to be him going, oh, I'm not invincible. I can't win all the time.
Hence why I said at least once.
I also start to wonder of like, because again, this first episode had a focus on 3 riders, and none of them really wanted to work together. I wonder if a thing over the course of the season is going to be Geets realizing, oh, I need friends. I need a squad. I gotta squad up with them. Let's go. Let's beat them together.
Part of me feels like if he is going to have multiple deaths, that the first one is going to be like really early, like within the first 10 episodes kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Simply to set up the whole, oh wait, I can't do this alone. Maybe I should quit being a jerk and, help.
Maybe I need to buddy up with a few people. Maybe I need to buddy up with these other people who seem to be just as important as me.
And maybe by that point might be the time we start seeing your idea for the main villain kind of come up. Maybe not blatant, this is who it is, but maybe a case of, someone behind the scenes is really trying to screw everyone.
Yeah, because, again, all the promotional material has not really focused on the Yamato at all. They've been, like, a footnote in all of the promotional stuff. I feel like it wasn't until recently in magazine scans that we even saw what the fuck they look like. So I'm like, yeah, these feel incredibly minions, and they don't feel like major monsters at all.
Yeah.
So something's fishy. But yeah, that is our big 5-point predictions for the moment. whenever Hawk does his, or when Hawk does his stream Thursday, I might be able to sit down, because I also stream on Thursdays. I'll probably have to do it the next day after work, because I'm officially Monday through Friday now instead of Sunday through Thursday, because my next week of work was scheduled, but wasn't, and it's Monday through Friday. It makes sense because our night shift people for remodel are Sunday through Thursday, and we're supposed to follow up their work, so us being Sunday through Thursday doesn't help, because that is an entire day of work for us that we're not following up from them.
Fair.
But yeah, Friday I'll be able to go through his stream and, you know, copy down the yes no count questions and like whatever else he might have changed format wise, and so we'll do that, I don't know, next Sunday. Answer all that and stuff, even though we'll be cheating because we'll have 2 episodes instead of 1 to make all of these predictions.
I mean, will it be cheating?
Probably not. In all honesty, it won't be like we have that much more insight within Geats itself. I mean, I think the 2 of us have watched more writer shows than a few of them, I believe. So we have that much more insight, at least. Anywho, anything else before we get an Ace Attorney this week?
No.
All right, then. It is 17 through 20 this week, folks, in the reunion and turnabout, and all of Turnabout Big Top, which I gotta have words with Turnabout Big Top here in a little bit, because I forgot what Turnabout Big Top did, and I'm like, well, we'll talk about it. But any thoughts before we hit recaps?
No.
All right, then we will pick up where we left off with Reunion and Turnabout Last Trial. So Annie is on the witness stand, and she says that Maya, aka her sister possessing Maya, approached her to tell her that Gray killed her and that the car accident was essentially murder. And that she tried to talk her down from the whole revenge stuff, and then took her back to Morgan, and then the whole rest of the situation from there happened. But Mia, who is with Phoenix at the moment, sees that this is all just one big fabrication, and Phoenix follows up with his cross-examination. He does catch her lying about going through the winding way where Pearl was fixing the urn, saying, it's a little hard for you to miss the girl who is in the middle of the walkway fixing a giant urn with super glue. I'm pretty sure you're blind if you're missing that.
Yeah.
Also, considering how they showed it, she literally had to run into Pearl in order to walk past them. Yep. Because she is literally covering up the entire walkway. Phoenix ends up calling for the truth and goes on to say that you were in the room or you were in the channeling chamber for the murder, because she hid in the big box. I'm just gonna call it a box. I don't know what else to call it. The big box that had the bullet hole and stuff in it, and she popped out, knocked out Maya, and then stabbed Gray. But that did not murder him. So as she was putting away Maya for later, Gray shot at her, which is how we got the bullet holes and stuff. And then she went and shot Gray, and that is when Phoenix and Lana entered the room. He also points out that Morgan had to be an accomplice in all of this, because there is no other way for her to not only be in that room before all of this, but also to acquire the costume and, all the stuff after the fact. So this is why Pearl is channeling me at the moment, because we're putting Pearl's mom in jail. we're putting a 7-year-old girl's mom in jail because she wanted to commit murder so that her 7-year-old daughter would take over the clan instead of her, I think, like 16-year-old cousin. Because I forget how old Maya is at this point in the series. "17. Have I mentioned Maya has to go through some fucked up shit in the trilogy? And this isn't even like the worst of it? Like we are at game 2. We are in the middle of game 2, and I already have to deal with that her aunt is trying to get her framed for murder so that her 7-year-old cousin will take over the clan in her place because fucking bloodline bullshit. After already having her sister be murdered because of fucking crime shit. Anywho, this all rattles Innie very hard, but Francisco pops in to be like, "You have no motive, so boo." No. Which, come on. As I just laid out, there's a murder for half. There's a fairly clear motive for half of this. We just need to get to the other half. So Mia steps up to be like, "Phoenix, you're on the right trail. Just keep going. It's fine. Have a little bit more confidence in yourself." So he ends up questioning Innie on the accident, and after she misidentifies which side this American luxury car her sister had was the steering wheel, we find out that this person is not Innie, but her sister Minnie, and that Innie died in the accident because they couldn't identify who was who. And since Minnie here, her face was badly burned, they reconstructed her face based off her sister's ID, which apparently she had on her for some reason. That's the weird part in all of this. Where was her driver's license?
I'm sorry, wait a minute. That's the weird part in all of this?
But besides the rest of it, it's the one part where I'm like, wait, they reconstructed your face off the driver's license they found, and it wasn't yours? But your sister's, but both of you had a license? Wait, did you swap driver's license at some point in all of this? But yeah, it's that one, like, that is a little weird. But yeah, the rest of it is it's a lot. I like to also point out they cut an entire character from this case, where Phoenix actually went to the hospital to get that actual driver's license and stuff and find out about the accident. They cut an entire character, an entire sequence from this case. Probably for the best. We don't need horny doctor in the anime, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, everything finally on the table. Minnie just snaps and confesses. So both her and Morgan are arrested. So Maya's got her not guilty. Yay!
Got her not guilty for murder again.
Yay! Too bad I just sent my aunt to jail because she tried to frame me for murder. Later, outside the lobby, Morgan actually passes Phoenix and a still possessed Pearl as Mia, and she's just like, "We're not done. I will have Pearl as head of the Fae clan. Goodbye." Spoilers, if we go to season 2, which I don't know, how are you feeling at the moment?
I mean, I put it in the schedule. I said screw it.
Well, continuing through season 2?
Yep.
Okay. Because I wasn't super hot on it, because going through this so far, I'm just like, there is not a whole lot here that is not just the games again. Except for weirdly cut content. Like, they have chop these cases down to streamline. Well, sometimes streamline them, sometimes just to go, yeah, we're not doing that sequence. We're just gonna chuck it and just get the information elsewhere. So a part of me is just like, sometimes it feels like we just don't have a whole lot to get into. So part of me was willing to skip season 2, but if you're willing to go in for the long haul, that's fine.
Yeah, it'll give us a little more time to figure out what the next thing will be.
It's probably going to end up being Hibiki at this point, because I don't think Shout Factory is going to give us another writer show to watch legally. So we're just going to do Hibiki because that's the weird one, and also the complicated one once we get to, you know, the 30s on that show. Because there's a lot to talk about once we get to that point in the Hibiki. But yeah, Morgan swears to revenge and stuff. Spoilers! That's the end of season 2. Tune in when we get there. Morgan's not done. But we head to Kyrian Village again. The channeling chamber is locked down because, yeah, murder happened there. We're not going to do that for a while. So Phoenix decides to head home. Maya decides to stay behind because, Phoenix doesn't need me. It's okay. But then Pearl, being the eternal shipper she is, shoves Maya on the train and is like, go hang out and do stuff together. Goodbye. Also, the temple is not that far away. It's like a little over an hour train ride from the city to the village. So it's not like they're that far away from each other. I believe it's 80 minutes is what the poster said.
Yep.
Which isn't that bad for a train ride, I feel like. Also, one last detail. We find out that the box Maya was in had Mia's old outfit, so that's why she smelled her sister in the dream, I guess. It's odd to slip in that detail right here at the end, but okay.
Yeah, it felt out of place big time.
I think it's one of those times where it's like, that feels like it came in sooner in the case in terms of information and stuff, and because we probably cut that segment, we feel like just shoving that in here to answer the question. Sometimes these cases are weird in terms of how they're adapted. But how do you feel about Reunion and Turnabout as a whole, since we have hit the last episode of it?
I mean, I feel like it does good for setting groundwork for stuff that we're not really gonna touch immediately, because, you know, Turnabout Big Top.
Turnabout Big Top, yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Strap in on that one.
But I mean, all together, pretty good on that one.
Yeah, it's good. It feels weird to go into this case knowing that this was not the first case of the second game, because for those wondering, we are into the second game's material now, and Reunion Turnabout was the second case of the second game. The first case of the second game we're actually not going to cover until we get to season 2, because they decided to put that at the start of season 2 for some reason.
Huh.
Yeah, it's the I believe it's Forgotten Turnabout is the name of it. I'll check real quick. No, Lost Turnabout, mind you. Yeah, it is Lost Turnabout. That was the tutorial case for the second game. And you will see exactly why it is the tutorial case for the second game when we get to it, because, yeah, it's kind of written in a way to be like, yeah, this is how we, you know, make you get introduced to all of the mechanics and stuff of Ace Attorney, because New game and stuff. If people haven't played the first game, they need to know how Ace Attorney works now. So
Fair.
but still, it's good. It works. I don't mind that they cut an entire segment in character to streamline the case. It works.
I'll be
Like,
honest.
what-
I didn't remember this one as clear as I have some of the others, but it still felt like it flowed pretty much on point, kind of deal.
Yeah. Like, what matters to the case overall is still here. But again, which feels like the thing I have for the entire show at this point. I wish there was more to it than just what we got in the game. Because there isn't. Everything here is exactly how it was in the games for the most part.
Yeah.
It's just the visual presentation of it is different. Anything else before we hit the next one?
I guess it's time to go to the circus.
Yep, it is episode 18, Turnabout Big Top, first trial. So Phoenix and Maya are at a very big circus. I don't have the Japanese name for it. I think it's the exact same thing. It's not a very good show from the looks of it. But it is home to Max Galacta, aka Maximilian Galacta. He's a big shot magician who's got a big flight trick and stuff, so he flies around above the crowd and stuff. And it's a big hit with the crowd and with Maya, because she imitates a lot of it the next day at the office, where we find out they are short on clients, but they got plenty of bills and stuff because Phoenix is eternally broke.
Bills, that's foul.
I'm sorry, Phoenix is eternally broke and short on clients. Which, weirdly, again, the one weird thing that's missing from all of this, and it's not fairly obvious, I feel like, is the Magatama, which lets Phoenix know if his client is lying to him. That entire plot point and game mechanic is missing from this series. And it feels weird.
I forgot about that. Yeah, it does kind of feel weird now that you mention that.
Yeah, that means Cyclops in general just don't exist in this show. I feel like Cyclops... Cyclops show up as a physical prop for one thing, I feel like, but otherwise they don't exist. Which feels like a weird thing to drop from the series, because it is a mystical, magical thing in the series that already establishes that mystical, magical things exist in it. Especially when that Magatama is Maya's that she gave to Phoenix, and she also has her own, which is her necklace, and we've seen it glow, which means it should do the same thing as the others, but whatever. Anywho. Yeah, they're lamenting the fact that they are no clients, they got all these bills and stuff, but then Maya turns on the news, and we find out that Max has been arrested for the murder of the ringmaster of Berry Big Circus, Russell Berry, aka Naoto Tachimi. And some part of me feels like this is written in opening exactly like the third case of the first game. Which is Maya really likes this one thing, and oh no, someone from that one thing got arrested for murder. We must go defend them.
Oh no.
I don't know if that's on purpose or not.
Probably.
Yeah. But yeah, they head to the detention center to talk to Max, and we find out that he is very aloof and stupid and thinks he's not actually been arrested and going to be put on trial for fucking murder. Welcome to problem one of this case. We'll talk about the rest of the other major problem really with this case in general later, but it is weirdly...
I am gonna say this. I feel like I don't remember seeing this case being done on stream.
It was.
So... Yeah.
There's the thing about this case we'll talk about closer to the end of it, but let's just say somehow the show did it better.
I felt all in all like the show did a good job with this. I'm gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
But I don't remember the source material to be like, oh.
I do, and I will tell you this. They took a chopping block to this case for the better.
Yeah. I have to feel like I have to agree with you on that. Because I could see where this could go extremely stupid, extremely quick. And I'm
Spoilers,
kinda glad
it did.
and I'm kind of glad that they chose not to do that.
But anywho, Max then realizes, oh fuck, I'm on trial. I've actually been arrested for murder. Please help. And Phoenix is like, I'm going to investigate first before we commit to this because I've got feelings about this.
Which completely pisses my off.
Which, fair. She's like, why are you being cagey about this? Then we find out that it's like, yeah, he's kind of proven right later, because here's the thing. I've come to really like confident Phoenix and like intelligent Phoenix. It feels like a good progression for his character and something that it's hard to do in the games because of the manner of the Ace Attorney games. Phoenix doesn't have to have his stupid moments of like, oh fuck no, what am I, wait, what's the answer? Whereas when the anime, we can just have Phoenix have the answer and just keep going.
Yeah.
We don't need those pauses to do gameplay.
Yeah, I do kind of like that, but at the same time, I see why they do it in the games. Because the game's purpose is to try to make the players do the thinking.
Yeah.
Whereas the show, they can cut some of that, which I'm kind of glad we're starting to pull away from that.
Yeah, I like confident Phoenix, and I know what I'm doing, Phoenix.
It's one of those that is a nicer touch. I've got to say that.
But this is when we also find out that Russell was found dead, hunched over a very large box in the snow on the premises of the circus. We also find out that Max was in his Russell's office discussing his contract at the time of the murder. So the two head out. They grab Noodles first before heading to the circus to investigate and just talk a little bit. Little banter stuff back and forth. It's one of those, this is not in the games, and it's times like this where I'm like, yay, you're expanding on the cases and doing more. Do more of this, please. I want more little moments like this of Phoenix and Maya just bouncing off each other, fleshing out their friendship and stuff. But yeah, Phoenix is hesitant about Max. He's just got a bad feeling about it, and he's like, okay, there's more to this, so nah. At the circus, they run into Money the monkey, aka Money the monkey. He stole a tiger's costume. The tiger belongs to Regina Berry, aka Rika Tachimi. She is Russell's daughter, and she is the Beastmaster, I guess, of the circus. She's the one taming the tigers and stuff. Unfortunately, she is also aloof as fuck and does not understand what's happening. So she doesn't help at all. And now you see where this case can get on people's nerves. You have already ran into the first two people in this case, and they are just completely non-existent. It sucks.
I'm kind of wondering if it's more of a case of I don't remember it because I didn't see it, or a case of I don't remember it because I didn't want to remember.
Fair. Like, when I say that nobody likes Turnabout Big Top, I mean that. As far as I know, Turnabout Big Top is considered the worst case of the original trilogy. I think the only thing that may be further down is technically Rise from the Ashes. It also doesn't help that was a bonus case added to the first game that is not present here in the anime for us to talk about. But I think the problems with that case and this case are the same problem, which is they're too goddamn long for what's in it. Like, we'll get to it later, but when I say this case was streamlined for the better. But at this point, they decide to go check the crime scene. They run into Gumshoe, and this is when we find out that Max's hat was found at the crime scene, and there's no footprints besides Russell's, meaning the killer must have flown away to commit the crime. Therefore, it must be Max, because he does the fly stuff. Because magic, which, you know, normally you'd be like, yeah, that's how magic works, right? But we've established that magic things can happen, so it's entirely possible that he has actual magic.
And I also feel like he has a line later that actually kind of implies the same thing. Because it's after he exposes to the court the very thin wires, but then later he tells Phoenix that he just said that, and it's like, wait a minute, are we actually trying to imply he can fly? Hold on here.
God, it gets weirder when it's just like, oh yeah, we're dealing with magician bullshit, and then magician bullshit ends up becoming a very important part of Phoenix's life in the fourth game because of his daughter Trucy. Oh, I don't know if I want to talk about that here, but yeah, let's just say Phoenix has a complicated history now with magicians. Because of what happens in the backstory of the fourth game and going forward in the fourth game, which is Apollo Justice. Maybe we'll talk about it once we're done with the Ace Attorney of the series, But anyway, they also go around the circus, talk to different people, and everyone's like, "Fuck Max, he's an asshole. He must have killed the ringmaster. Fuck him." Which kind of brings both of their moods down of just like, Jesus Christ. Wow, Max, what did you do to these people? As they're investigating as well, they then run into Benjamin Woodman and Trilo Quist, a ventriloquist and his dummy, aka Ben Kizumi in Relo. They're looking for some sort of ring, but they run off with a headache. After seeing the pair, which brings us to Lawrence Mo Curls, aka Matsu Tomi Tomita. I wonder why he is named Lawrence Mo Curls in that exact order.
I mean, bad thing is there's only one of him.
Yeah, for those that don't know, this must be a reference to the Three Stooges because it is Larry Moe Curly, and it has always been Larry Moe Curly. If this is not a Three Stooges reference in some capacity, I'm honestly shocked because it is way too close to not be it.
Oh, it's way too on the nose to not be it kind of deal.
Yeah.
No pun intended, since he's a clown.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he is the clown of the circus, and he's also like, Max did it, and we've got eyewitnesses said otherwise. So this leads them to the office, the ringmaster's office, to check it. And that's where they find the contract, Max's contract. And yeah, things about that contract lead them to talk to Max later, and they're like, you lied to us. This contract is dated for last week. You were not talking to him about your contract. And I will put this out. Both Phoenix and Maya are like, Sir, you lied to us. You can't do that. And Phoenix is just like, look, if you're going to lie to me and stuff, I'm not defending you. Goodbye. And that's when Max finally breaks character, and we get to see the person underneath the Max Galata persona as country bumpkin Billy Bob Jones, which is the most southern made up name I've ever fucking seen. Jesus. You cannot get more "this is some man from the South" name than this.
I mean, you're not wrong.
But yeah, he apologizes and stuff and comes clean about that, and also tells them about winning some magic award for some magic Grand Prix, and they got him a life-size bust of himself and whatnot. We also find out that the reason he kind of like is a bit of a dick is because he wants people to improve their acts and stuff, and his abrasive nature is him trying to do it, but he's bad at it. But with all this on the table, Phoenix is finally like, all right, I'll defend you in court. And so they head back to the circus to investigate more. This is when Money drops by again and steals Phoenix's attorney badge and then runs off to the room with it. Thus leads to monkey shenanigans as Phoenix imitates the monkey to get it back. Doesn't work. Maya hops in, does a monkey bit, and that runs off Money, so they get the attorney's badge back. I love just the little thumbs up from the pair, just like, hey, Phoenix, I did good. As Phoenix is lying on the ground, dying from this monkey attacking him. I was like, thanks, Maya. At least I'm not dead. But they clean up the room and they actually see the bust of Max in there. They also find a ring, which, as it turns out, is Ben's ring. By the way, there's an entire plot point and sequence in the game involving this ring that the show does not even bother to spend time with. There's an entire, like, I think an hour or so segment. It's probably not an hour, but there's an entire segment of this case dedicated to this fucking ring and Ben and Regina's relationship at the current moment. Like I said, they took a hatchet to this case for the better, because they all cut that shit. And good. We don't need it. It's not necessary to this case. But yeah, Ben wants it back, and him and the puppet do some shticks. He talks about how he saw Max walk past him to the crime scene. But Phoenix is like, well, you didn't see Russell either. So your testimony is kind of bunk. So bye. And then we end the episode with the pair prepping for trial the next day. By the way, also, that segment right there was in court. You had to spend an entire cross-examination segment dealing with Ben and his testimony. Turnabout Big Top is stupid long for all the wrong reasons. Like, all the wrong reasons. Because, oh boy, is that segment in court, and you have to deal with that the entire court segment. On top of what comes next. So that is 2 cross-examinations dealing with the exact same thing for the exact same reasons and having to debunk them for the exact same reasons. It is nonsense. Anywho, we'll continue to episode 19, Turnabout Big Top, second trial. So we're in court now, and Francisca is once more on prosecution because she is the prosecutor for this game, so she's here once more. There is nobody else that can take this because,
well, because Edgeworth chooses death.
Edgeworth is busy in America, and Payne can only take tutorial cases. He's not allowed to work any other case that isn't a tutorial. We bring in Gumshoe to give a recap of the case so far. This is when we find out that the box is like 20 kilograms or something. It's stupidly heavy, and all it has in it is a small little shaker of pepper. Like, literally just a tiny little, like, shaker of pepper. This is when Mo comes up to give his accounts. He saw Max rise past his window after he also saw that Russell was dead over the box. And things don't look good. But as Phoenix points out, it's a magic trick that has to involve a lot of prep work and stuff. And there's no sign of that prep work at the crime scene. So what the fuck? Literally, none of us have anything. Which, as it turns out, is correct, because this trial segment is going to be pretty much a wash on both accounts.
Yep.
Because the judge is pretty much like, Francesca, you have nothing for me to judge on, and so go investigate for me. So goodbye. That is day one of this court case done in like 5 minutes, which is not how it was in the game. It took like 40. So we catch up with Max in the detention center. He says that Russell took his coat and hat after leaving the office because he's like, it's cold out there. Take my coat and hat so you're, stay warm and stuff. Because it's snowing out. So with this information, they head back and they visit the man that was in the room with money. And it's Ken Acro Dingling, aka Kaisaku or Daisaku Acro Kinoshita. He is an acrobat that is currently wheelchair bound because an accident has left him paralyzed, I assume, from the waist down. And word from his doctor says that he may not walk again. They talk to him for a little bit about this before Francesca shows up and is just like, I need him for questioning. He's coming with me. And then takes him along with everything she took from the circus, which the search apparently was telegraphed to the circus, or the search was telegraphed to the circus ahead of time, because we see people talking about it as Phoenix and Maya arrive. This was on purpose. By not Francesca, mind you. We also find out why Francesca is out for revenge. It's for Miles, because he fucked off to America after Phoenix defended him in court, and that's kind of made her want to take revenge. And apparently has also left Phoenix a little bit bitter about the whole situation, because when Maya is just like, what's going on? He's just like, don't talk to me about Miles, please. I'm not sure what their deal is, because I don't think the game either this or this gets into it either. So I'm not sure why Phoenix is bitter about this. But give me 1 second. I gotta step away and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So after this, the pair run into Mo, and they find out that there was an incident 6 months ago, and that plus the current murder might close the circus. They don't get more at the moment, but they do find, or more on that at the moment, but they do find out that Russell was angry the morning of the murder over some note he found on the bulletin board. So they head off to the office to find the note. They find it in the trash, and it is apparently addressed to a murderer of the incident from 6 months ago. So that's when we have to go talk to Mo, because the note also said to come to exactly where Russell died that night. That's not suspicious at all. And completely unrelated. But back to Mo, we do find out about the incident that Acro's brother, Sean Bat Dingling, or E.B. Bat Kinoshita, he got injured performing a stick your head in the lion's mouth shtick with Regina, who apparently attacked him and was smiling when he attacked him. We had to put the lion down afterwards, but Bat is currently in the hospital in a coma because of it. This is when Regina drops by and is just like, oh yeah, that note thing, I found it in my pocket that morning and I put it on the bulletin board because I had no idea what they were talking about. Also, I've got that note after I delivered Acro his breakfast that morning. That's unrelated, right? That has nothing to do with anything, right? That's just a coincidence. So, yeah, between Mo and Phoenix, the two of them realize, fuck, Acro murdered the ringmaster, didn't he? On accident, when he was trying to murder someone else. Oops. So, at that point, the Phoenix and Maya leave, and they go prep for what's going to be a very rough day at trial. Next day, Gumshoe delivers a message from someone pre-trial. This someone is, in fact, Miles, who's like, it'll be decided this trial will be decided at the last second. So we start the trial. Acro's on stand to testify. He gives pretty much the same story as Mo, about Max rising past his window. Gumshoe comes in to explain the trick and stuff, but Phoenix is like, no, I want to cross-examine Acro. And this is when he begins his showcase of how Acro committed murder. But tell me, how do you feel most of the way through Turnabout Big Top at the moment?
It's a thing.
Yeah, Turnabout Big Top is the very odd case. Yeah, it is certainly a thing at this point of, a whole bunch of tragic accidents have happened to cause this murder, and it's honestly nobody's fault at the end of the day. I think it's one of the only times where the person that did the murder is not that bad of a person, honestly. But anything else before we hit the last episode?
No.
Alright, episode 20, Turnabout Big Top, Last Trial. Fran chimes in to be like, Phoenix, fuck off with your bluffing. I'm not having it today. And Phoenix is like, I'm not bluffing. And thus follows, which is a nice little presentation difference than how it is in the game. We get this elaborate performance by him, Mo, and Ben and Maya, showcasing how Acro committed the murder. Essentially, Russell was lured to the box. Since the box was heavy, he had to lean over it. Acro then dropped the bust of Max Galata on him, which killed him. And because Russell was wearing the cape got caught on the statue, or on the bust. So when it came up, it looked like Max killed Russell, thus showing the witness testimony from Mo, and presumably the one from Acro. But yeah, the others helped. They even show flying around in court, because Max helped them with the prep work on this, and the circus helped out because, as it turns out, Max was negotiating the raise he was going to get to be distributed to everyone else, to try to incentivize them to do better with their acts and stuff. And this information brought to the circus is like, oh, Max is not a bad person. Maybe we will help them. But with all this information put forward, Acro's like, that's all nonsense. I decline. Because just like our last case, motive is called into question, but Phoenix is like, oh, I don't know if I want to go here. That's a complicated thing. Because, by the way, Regina, while she's not a part of the performance, she's in the audience. So, yeah. But Phoenix finds his resolve and ends up revealing about the note getting past Regina, because Regina was the original target of all this, not Russell. And a scarf that Regina gave Bat pre the incident from 6 months ago had pepper on it, which was just a little barb between the two of them. And that pepper got sniffed by the lion. The lion sneezed, bit Bat, and caused his injury that led him into a coma. By the way, doesn't it feel like Bat is less injured than he should be for someone who had his head chomped by a goddamn lion?
Maybe.
Because his head's just wrapped in a bandage. There's nothing else wrong with him. I'm just like, your head got chomped on by a lion. I feel like you would be worse off besides the coma.
Like I said,
But
maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been 6 months also.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's the only thing that's left.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that accident, plus Regina's kind of treatment of the incident because of her aloof nature, angered Acro, and that has led to this tragic series of events that has led to a lot of people getting hurt and murdered. At this point, Acro's like, well, you have no proof, so no. Even as his buddies from the circus are like, Acro, please just tell the truth. It's okay. But with no sign of the bust, Phoenix is kind of out of options. But Maya objects and chimes in, is just like, believe in the words that Miles told you, and we can do this. We still got this. And that's when Phoenix realizes, well, the bus was in his room, but then the next day he got taken away by Francisca, and the bus was not found on the premises, meaning there's only one place the bus can be left, and it's on Acro's person because it's on his wheelchair. So Phoenix is like, take the blanket off that you have on your lap. And when he does, the statue is right there between his legs. So, as he puts it, with the murder weapon literally on him, he's like, yeah, I guess I can't get away with this, can I? So he cracks, reveals that the whole thing Phoenix put out there was the truth. And it's just one tragic accident after another. And then Regina realizing, oh, fuck, I fucked up as well, demands to be arrested in Acro's place because, no, it's kind of her fault. But that's declined, so she decides to stay by Bat's side and in Acro's place until he wakes up. So Max gets his not guilty, but once more, it's kind of a somber not guilty in all of this whole situation. But later, we see the circus goes on. Mo takes over the ringmaster role. Max continues to be a part of the circus because they plan to be the best circus in the world. And Max is like, well, you need a great magician to do that, so I'm with you the rest of the way. So, yay all around. But we end the episode with Gumshoe and Miles. Gumshoe's actually updating Miles on the case, and Miles is like, well, I'll talk to the head prosecutor, try to get Acro some slack on the whole situation. And we see on his plane ticket, he's coming back to Japan / America for reasons unknown. Ooh. So how do you feel about the end of Turnabout Big Top?
Could have been worse.
Yeah. Yeah, to the show's benefit, this case is a lot shorter in adaptation. And thank God it is. This did not need to be, I think, what would be the equivalent of like 5 episodes or 6 episodes. it being 3 episodes makes it feel like better than it is, because it's at least short.
This is one of those prime examples of moments when the show cut stuff and it was actually beneficial.
Yeah, because like I said, the whole thing with Ben in the ring was cut. The whole situation with Ben getting clocked in the head by Max with a wine bottle was cut for the most part, outside of just being mentioned. I think a lot of, running around talking to Ben and Mo and getting information about the incident from 6 months ago is cut down. Like, pretty much a lot of the running around of this case is cut down. It also helps that you're not having to navigate personally around this, because also Turnabout Big Top is laid out terribly in terms of trying to navigate it and get to the proper locations to investigate. Again, I think this case benefits an adaptation because it's got to get cut down for time. It's got to get cut down because we're not doing gameplay stuff. So it turns out better. And I think I like this version of Turnabout Big Top, at least. Whereas the previous one was a fucking slog. But anything else?
No.
All right, then. Next week. And I'll make sure I get the episode count right. We start the finale of season 1, which is the finale of the second game, Farewell My Turnabout. 4 episodes to resolve what is probably one of the most interesting cases for Ace Attorney, because of it doing a thing that had not been done in Ace Attorney to that point and has never been done again. Which we'll pretty much see what that is straight out of the gate in episode 1, I believe. If not the second episode. But between now and then, Thursday, I'm starting Duelist of the Roses because I want to play Duelist of the Roses on stream, so we're playing Duelist of the Roses. The Friday will be something.
Someone doesn't have this up.
I do not at the moment.
Either Star Citizen or a KH2 rant. Not sure which yet, so I just threw both of them in there.
Yep. Saturday will be TGS. We'll get to talk about whatever. And then Sunday will be the last of season 1 of Ace Attorney. So if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that Philly. Go at Season Sooner on Twitter. Gets you a Facebook Live. Especially on Twitter, Discord, and chat. Get to the Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. See you Thursday, folks.